Welcome back, guys, to another edition of Dark Powerrr. I'm assuming that this is going to be dropping in the new year, and if so, welcome to 2021. I know that we are all kind of looking forward to a new year, a fresh start, and as we always do with True Heels, every year we try to grow, we try to expand, not just what we bring to you guys and the amount of content that we bring to you guys, but also how we do it. And for me, that was getting this microphone, this just interesting looking thing that's now going to be in front of me. I don't know if I can put it to the side and if it's going to be strong enough to pick up my amazing voice in full volume, full quality, but we shall see. We will be growing through this together, and because of that, I want to say welcome again. Welcome to 2021 when it comes to Dark Powerrr, where we cover, as you know, everything, well, almost everything that happens on Tuesdays, whether it's AEW Dark, UWN, or the NWA. Before we get started, guys, I just want to say, just a few days ago, we lost an incredible person when it comes to the world of wrestling. We lost Mr. Brody Lee, John Huber, formerly known as Luke Harper, when he was in WWE. This is a man who had a pretty storied career. He had a career that spanned a number of years in multiple promotions, whether it was Ring of Honor, whether it was WWE, whether it was AEW, as well as a host of indies as he made his ways through the world. Now, I don't think there's anything we can really say outside of the fact that he passed away far too young. Details are still a little sketchy on what exactly it was that lung issue. We do know it's non-COVID, and I think that it is I don't know if it's necessarily something we need to know, right? It's something that if the family wants us to know, we can know. If not, let them have their privacy. But for sure, we know that he was taken away far too young at the age of 41. And I think that one thing we can all kind of agree on is the universal outpouring of love and support for his family, whether it came from AEW, whether it came from WWE, whether it came from individual wrestlers within the various companies that he was part of or that he journeyed with. You can tell that he touched a lot of lives. You can tell that he made an impact no matter where he went, no matter who he talked to. And so that's somebody that we lost. That's something that we will forever, think about what if. What if Brody Lee had been able to get that hometown pop, coming out as the Exalted One? What if what it would have been like had he been able to go to New Japan and had some crazy matches over there? I'm sure that Brody Lee versus Suzuki, Brody Lee versus Ishii would have been phenomenal matches. Shingo Takagi. Those are things that we will always talk about what if. But we will be able to share the memories that we did have. And for me, I think my favorite match that he was in was the six-man tag match at Elimination Chamber 2014 with the Wyatt family versus The Shield. That was just an amazing match with everybody involved, and to me, that's one of the standout matches of Brody Lee's career. Feel free to put in the comments what you think was yours. I know Brody Lee isn't this topic isn't necessarily Dark Powerrr related, but in a way it is, because he was part of AEW, but at the same time, this is just something that affected all of us, affected everything that we hold dear when it comes to wrestling. And I'm very proud of AEW for how they've handled it, and the fact that they moved the New Year's Smash episode to next week, and they're doing a Brody Lee tribute tomorrow, Wednesday, December 30th. Now, because of that is going to change the perspective of some of the things that we're going to talk about on Dark Powerrr tonight, because this episode of AEW Dark was designed to be the Dark before New Year's Smash. Okay. But things happen. So we'll deal with it. So let's get straight to it, guys. And as always, remember to hit that like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. This week, we don't have an NWA episode because Shockwave had its season finale last week. I don't know how exactly they're going to be doing things in the future when it comes to 2021, whether they are going to be having, episodes air on UWN, that's a pay-per-view, and then the very next week those will be on YouTube as part of NWA Shockwave. We'll see how exactly all of that goes down. But we do know that hopefully soon we will be getting UWN Primetime Live back, and we will hopefully be crowning a UWN Heavyweight Champion. But until then, let's talk about Dark. So Dark has a number of matches, some standout ones, some that are, dark matches, and we have a really good waiting room segment. So let's kick it off with the Anna Jay versus Jasmine Allure match. I thought this was a standout to me because it just shows more and more about how Anna Jay is really grasping her character and knows a lot of what she's doing in the ring, and it's starting to show. A lot of times we don't get to see development happen in front of our eyes, and we have seen that with Anna Jay, and that's one of the reasons why I hope that she is somebody that they really continue to build around when it comes to the entirety of the AEW women's division. The waiting room segment involves Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal is trying... I gotta give credit to him. He's really trying. He's trying to be a heel and be a dick to Cody, but it kind of seems weird because it doesn't seem as though his heart's in it, because it doesn't seem like it's really Matt Sydal, like who his personality is. And, Matt Sydal has been a great heel. He was a really great heel in Impact with the Third Eye character and that gimmick of being the guru with him and Josh Matthews. But here it doesn't really, something about it doesn't really come across, especially because he debuted and has been, for the most part, a face. He does have some problems with Cody, which I completely understand. The concept of Cody hogging the limelight, or the shine, the spotlight, all those sorts of things, including the fact that while Sydal's on there trying to promote his match against Cody at New Year's Smash, they get mail, and that's giving them a poster from the Go Big show that Cody's going to be hosting on TBS, and it's asking Britt Baker to put the poster up on the wall. Britt Baker herself taking shots at Cody, but overall a really good waiting room segment. Definitely not as good as last week's. It's hard to top last week's waiting room segment of SCU, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels talking about all of their problems. But, this was a really good episode of waiting room, or bit of waiting room. Funnily enough, the match right after the waiting room was another one of the standouts for me. This is Team Taz taking on Ryzen, Nick Comoroto, and Tapia. And this match, what I liked about it was just the ruthlessness of Team Taz. Going above and beyond to show off that ruthlessness, who they are. They talked about it on commentary. Team Taz, we build assassins. And they are continuing to build them up ahead of the clash with Darby Allin, and what I think will probably be some kind of six-man tag match at Revolution. Cody, Sting, Darby Allin versus Team Taz. Next, we had something else that stood out more because of plot development, story development. We have Griff Garrison taking on Fuego del Sol with Pretty Peter Avalon on commentary, and Avalon is talking about how he wants to face Griff Garrison, how he finds Griff Garrison physically attractive. He is part of the Pretty Peter Avalon pageant, and he wants to face him. He thinks that Garrison is going to be somebody who can step up to Peter Avalon. After Garrison picks up his win over Fuego del Sol, when Garrison's trying to leave with Brian Pillman, Avalon comes over to give him one of his 8x10s that's autographed, and Garrison really just doesn't give him the time of day, and it doesn't really sit too well with Avalon. Let's just leave it at that. So it's probably going to have something between the two of them. I hope this is something that stays on Dark. Dark needs these kinds of storylines, things for people to sink their teeth into, and to keep coming back to, instead of just seeing relatively not as well-known talent lose to AEW contracted talent. This will be at least something to continue to build out what it is that Dark can be, or what AEW Elevation will become. After this, something else that stood out to me was Sammy Guevara versus Aaron Solo. The match itself was pretty good, but here also we have a promo after the match where Guevara is cutting more of a babyface promo. Let's face it, guys. We've been seeing this for weeks now on Dynamite. Some kind of a shift, some kind of a turn, some kind of a changing of the mindset, let's say, with Sammy Guevara when it comes to the Inner Circle. He's still willing to do Jericho's dirty work. He's still willing to be the guy that he is in the Inner Circle, but we're starting to see more out of Sammy Guevara. We're starting to see some kinds of reasons to support Sammy Guevara, and that's always important to see when we deal with what can be a very lucrative face turn for the face heel dynamics in AEW, as well as for Guevara's own personal career. Next, Matt Sydal taking on Danny Limelight. This was a really good match. Danny Limelight, somebody we've talked about on UWN, and we've talked about him on AEW Dark, and we do that for a reason. He's a standout talent. And when you put him in the ring with somebody like Matt Sydal, you're going to get a good match. And that's what this is. And finally, in our main event, the thing that stood out to me was SCU taking on TH2. This is a match that we kind of knew we were going to get after last week's waiting room, which ended after the SCU conversation, with SCU kind of talking to or targeting TH2. Now, we know that SCU, if they lose their next match, whatever they lose their next match, they are going to be done tagging together. So in a way, we kind of know that TH2, they're probably losing this match when Kazarian and Daniels finally do end SCU and go their separate ways or single ways, so that Christopher Daniels can really fully embrace being that behind-the-scenes backstage role that he has, and Kazarian can go and do his solo singles career alongside Scorpio Sky's singles career. We kind of know that match is probably not going to happen on Dark. At the very least, it's going to happen on Dynamite, if not at a pay-per-view. Let's face it, I think that this match is, when SCU does lose, it will be when they challenge the Young Bucks for the AEW World Championship, Tag Team Championships, to try to get those titles back. And when they fail, that will be the end of SCU, and that itself is a pay-per-view match. So, did I think TH2 stood a chance in this match? No, not really. But did they do a really good job of making me think that they could? They did. And overall, this is, generally speaking, a match of two incredibly well-talented teams that can go the distance when it comes to facing each other and can do incredible in-ring work. So that, our main event, is something to check out. But guys, my time here is dwindling down for this week on Dark Powerrr. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you again for tuning in. Let me know if the audio sounds good on the mic. I'll be checking it out myself, but another set of ears is always handy. So until next time, guys, welcome to 2021. Rest in power, Mr. Brody Lee. And this is just a reminder to take care of yourselves, take care of each other, reach out to family. This is kind of the time for doing that, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, whether you celebrate Christmas itself or, whatever the case may be, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. Doesn't matter whether you're religious or not. This time period, that like end of November, December, is kind of the time to reflect on life, reflect on your relationships, and get in touch with people that you may not have spoken to in some times. And in this environment that we're in, this COVID pandemic environment, it's almost more important than ever because you don't know what's going to happen. And in the case of Brody Lee, like, they really didn't know this was going to happen. He got sick, from what we understand, end of October, and now he's gone. So hold on to your loved ones, stay safe, and until next time, guys, I'll see you later.